everyone, and welcome back to the United Star. We've got Shivan back with us for another FPL video, and today we are discussing the week after Patrick Bamford has basically destroyed hopes and built dreams. Uh, in the United Star League, as you can see on your screen, KU's 11 has taken back their number one spot after a blip of a couple of weeks. It's going strong there, but the number one performer this week is the team Come On You Spurs by Nathan Kim. Uh, Points all around, as you can see. Patrick Bamford 17, Danny Ings 10, captaining Heung-min Son 22, Wilf Zaha 13, Schmeichel 10. This is a team full of superstars from last week. But let's see what y'all can do this week to maybe catch up in the United Star League. If y'all haven't joined yet, the links are in the description. And Shivan's here to tell us how y'all can catch up. So Shivan, first let's do it the other way around today. Let's do the captaincy picks first. Who are your
Okay.
captaincy picks for this week?
I think there's two standout fixtures for captaincy this week, and it's the two teams that have been performing the best from an attacking point of view. That's Liverpool and Tottenham. They both have nice fixtures at home to Brighton and West Ham. And actually, if you look at the underlying numbers, both Brighton and West Ham have had good defensive underlying data. They have low XG and they have low chances conceded. But I think Liverpool and Tottenham are looking so lethal from an attacking point of view. I think Salah was really unlucky to not score against in the previous week. And I think this week he might get some returns. So I think one of Salah or Mane. Salah probably has the edge over Mane because he has penalties, even though Mane has better expected goals data. And for the Spurs fixture, I really like the look of Son. I think this year, Son at 9 million is such a steal because how good he's looking. And he's almost playing up front with Kane playing that quarterback position, almost like dropping deep and passing him those balls. So Son again, I prefer Son over Kane. Those are my two standard fixture captaincy options. And in terms of a differential for someone under 10% owned, I'm going for Raheem Sterling. He had two opportunities to score against West Ham, and they're playing a Sheffield team who have looked quite terrible at the back. And from that left-hand side, Sheffield conceded a lot of chances, and we saw City come back into form against Marseille. So I'm expecting a big call from Sterling this week against a poor Sheffield defense.
Yeah, I completely agree with you in terms of the captaincy choices, and I would just like to throw in another name in the mix there. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is facing Newcastle this week. Newcastle's defense has looked quite lackluster, and they've shipped quite a few goals. And DCL did not get a goal in the last game, which is sort of rare nowadays. So I think this is something to watch out for. Either this week he explodes and hits the standards he's been showing this season, or he doesn't do well at all, and maybe it's a start of something that a downward spiral for Everton and Calvert-Lewin. But I am on the side that he's going to do well this week. He's going to bounce back and he's going to get a couple of goals, is my feeling, and he is going to. I don't know if you can call him a differential captain or at least he's a right field choice. But let's look at some fixtures. You already mentioned City versus Sheffield. Now, a lot of managers don't have Manchester City players in their team. So, which City player would you recommend to bring in straight away with all the uncertainty around injuries?
Right now, actually, I think I'd stay away from bringing in a City player if you don't have one because next week they have Liverpool, and after that, their fixtures get better. But I think if you get in one City player, I think it has to be Raheem Sterling. Sergio Aguero, I'm not sure about his fitness. Kevin De Bruyne, we've seen him play a deeper role this year with with Gundogan and Rodri. And I think Sterling has the best expected goal involvement of any top City player this year. So he's going to be the one getting the goals, and I think he's the best option. But I'd stay away from getting City players until game week 10. After game week 10, then they have Burnley at home, Fulham at home, United away, West Brom at home. So three captainable fixtures then. That's when you can maybe get in your City assets. For the next 2 weeks, I think I'd stay away from them right now.
Yeah, actually, I have a different. I think I agree on the logic that bring them in post game week 10, but I actually think from a purely point to value perspective, price to point perspective, I think Phil Foden might be a good option. I think he is more likely to play games with the number of injuries they're having and the rotation that Guardiola will do. I think it seems that in the Premier League, Foden might play more games, and his goal involvement is actually quite high. In that price category, no one's goal involvement is as high as Phil Foden's. So I think that could be an interesting avenue to explore. It's a good differential to have. But let's move on to another interesting set of fixtures, which I want to talk about two strikers in particular. One is actually three strikers, Wolves and Crystal Palace. So here I want to talk about Raul Jimenez. Do you think Raul Jimenez is back in his old form? And the second fixture is Leicester and Leeds. Now, this fixture could have a lot of goals, and there are, of course, two strikers from this fixture which you now need to talk about. Obviously,
Yeah.
the ever constant Jamie Vardy. It doesn't matter how many minutes he spends on a pitch, he seems to be getting a goal. And what about Patrick Bamford?
In terms of Raul Jimenez, I don't think he's back yet. I think Wolves have been really lucky the last 2 weeks. He's the lucky as well to get 8 and 9 points. I don't think he's been that good in terms of chances created and shots on target. So I'm still not too sure about Wolves because they aren't posting the same numbers that they used to earlier. Jimenez is not creating as many chances. I think they're really missing out on that Doherty effect and even the left back with no Johnny. I think it's having an effect on the team, and we've seen them change their style. They're playing a more possession-based football, and they aren't looking that clinical. Like it took them 80 minutes to score against Newcastle. So I'm still not sure about Raul Jimenez. He's a great option for the next week because Crystal Palace at home is a good fixture. But other than that, there's better value options like Patrick Bamford. Now he's had like 6 goals this season, and he had a hat trick last week. And Leeds is still a bit inconsistent in terms of their team. Like you don't know who's going to get points. One week it can be Jack Harrison, one week it can be Click. But I think Patrick Bamford, he's posted really great numbers in the championship last season, and he actually underperformed his XG. But this year he's actually overperforming his XG, and he's like scoring wonder goals. So I think Leeds are going to be a great attacking team. And when their fixtures turn, I think he's definitely an asset to have. In terms of Jamie Vardy, he's too expensive. However, how much ever he plays, however well he plays, at 10 million, you have much better options. You have Kane at point 0.5 more. You have Ings and Jimenez at 1.5 less. You have Bamford, Antonio, Adams, Watkins at almost 4 million less. So Vardy's a no-go for me.
Right, right. So now that you've mentioned Watkins, that was actually my next question to you. The
Yeah.
Aston Villa fixtures against the Aston Villa fixture is quite interesting. I think they're taking on Southampton, so that's an interesting fixture because Aston Villa have been good defensively, but Danny Ings seems to be continuing his rich vein of form from last season, not only on the pitch but in terms of FPL. And Che Adams is proving to be a perfect foil for him. So, do you see goals in this game? And do you think Aston Villa players' assets will be able to sustain their high levels of performance that they have provided in the first 4 game weeks that they have played?
I think Aston Villa are a good team and they have got great fixtures. I think they have Southampton at home, then they have good fixture, Arsenal away, and then they have Brighton at home. I think that's a good run of 3 fixtures. I think the Arsenal away fixture is actually quite good for them. So in terms of Aston Villa, I think the best asset has to be Jack Grealish. He's playing that left-hand side role and he's actually getting a lot of shots in the box. He's getting a lot of chances. I think he had 2 big chances against Leeds, so they were probably unlucky to score. And I think Southampton are a good defensive team. I think the last 4 weeks they've conceded the least amount of expected goals. Even though they've had good fixtures, I think after that Tottenham 6-1 or 5-1 loss, they've really changed their team around. I've had McCarthy in goal and he's got me a lot of clean sheets. So I don't expect many goals in that game. But with Southampton, even though Aston Villa are good defensively, Danny Ings is so clinical and he's such a good finisher that they only need 1 or 2 good chances to finish. So I expect like a 1-1 or 2-1 game either way. So I'm expecting points for both Danny Ings, Jay Adams, and Jack Grealish.
Yeah, interesting. So actually, I have Jack Grealish in my team right now, but I'm actually
Yeah.
flirting with the idea of bringing Ross Barkley in because if you look at the underlying statistics, Ross Barkley is almost as good as Danny Ings in as Jack Grealish in terms of goal involvement and big chances created this season. So
And he might be on penalties.
and he might be on penalties, yes. So that it seems that he's taking more shots as well. Like even in the last game, I think Ross Barkley had I think four shots, 2 on target, and Grealish I think had just 1 shot and it was on target. But I think the underlying involvement of Ross Barkley, if it's the same, and if I can save 1.5, then that is something I'm considering this week to make that transfer to Barkley and then maybe invest that money somewhere else. But that's just a thought.
The only thing with Barkley is he plays much deeper than Jack Grealish. Like
Yeah,
we saw against Leeds, he's playing very deep at times, and
yeah.
it depends on which opposition you're playing. He might play more of an attacking midfielder if they're playing 4-2-3-1. But in the 4-3-3, if they play, he plays as that third central midfielder, and he's quite deep.
Yeah, and also that's a very valid point Shivan makes, because Jack Grealish's touches inside the box are far more superior than Barkley's touches inside the box.
Yeah.
So that's some kind of a trade-off that you might have to monitor the situation over 3 weeks, and then 3 or 4 weeks, and then maybe you'll be able to decide who is the best. Now let's just come to the final fixture: Manchester United versus Arsenal. Now this is obviously the headline fixture, and there are some very important assets in these fixtures. Now Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang does not seem to be able to buy a goal right now, and a lot of people have him, and it's not working out for them. On the other hand, Bruno Fernandes seems to be sort of coming back to his normal levels, but then again, that Chelsea game he didn't do anything because obviously it was a 0-0 draw. So what would you do with United assets? And Marcus Rashford is looking like he's on fire. He's scoring, he's assisting, he's going into the channel. So what would you do? Would you bring United assets in or Arsenal assets in, and which ones if you had to?
I would not bring any Arsenal assets in apart from a defender, because they're looking good defensively. But from an attacking point of view, Mikel Arteta has not found any answers yet for our creative woes. Arsenal aren't creating any chances, and which is why they're not scoring goals. We haven't scored a goal in the last 2 Premier League games, and we struggle to get past Rapid Vienna in Austria. So if you have Aubameyang out, please get him out of your team. He's not looking like scoring, and Arsenal are looking quite bad attackingly. But for United assets, I'd still wait 1 more week, because after the Arsenal home game, they have Everton away, which can be a tricky fixture. But the best United asset for me is definitely Marcus Rashford. Firstly, he's 1 million cheaper than Bruno Fernandes, and he's going to get more big chances, and he's going to get more touches in the box, and he's going to get more shots. Yes, Fernandes has penalties, and that's a big factor for United assets. But we saw last week, Rashford he had 4 shots, and yesterday 3 of those shots were big chances. So Rashford is getting in and around that box, and he's playing more of a striker position. I know Martial has been out, but when Martial comes back in, Rashford will go back to the left. But I still think at 1 million cheaper, he's the best asset to own from United. And I think in game week 10, they have West Brom at home, which looks like a good fixture, even a captainable fixture. So he's the best United asset, in my opinion.
I actually agree with you. I think Rashford is looking lethal right now, coming down the left, and United look a little dodgy in the Premier League, but they've been seem to improved over obviously since their first game. But I agree with you in terms of Marcus Rashford. Another player to watch out for, maybe Martial when he comes back as that striker role instead of buying a Jamie Vardy. You could also go for a Martial, but Martial has not looked that good. But anyway, for this game week, this is our prediction. We have got our captain's choices in terms of Salah or Mane, Heung-min Son, and Raheem Sterling as a differential. I personally think Calvert-Lewin as a left field captain choice is a good option. So thanks, Shivan, for joining in. Let us know what your captain choices are in the comments below, and we'll see you all soon. Subscribe to the channel till then. Thank you.